Dear students, in this video, you will get a clear idea about Unit 2 Wit and Humour in that C reading, chapter name The Brave Potter. This story is written by Marguerite Seik, was a great storyteller from Indonesia. He was very much interested in telling folk and mythological stories of Asia. He traveled across many Asian countries and collected interesting short stories from various countries and published them in English. He translated many famous Indian folk stories into English. The present short story, The Brave Potter, is a very popular one collected by him from India. So as you all already expected, The Brave Potter is very popular Telugu folk tale collected by Marguerite Seik. It is a humorous story. A Potter is the hero of the story. So before the explanation, let me say some few words about Potter and folktale. Folktale means tale means what? Tales means story. So folk is related with the tradition, maybe a particular village or state's story. So folk tales may be an imaginary stories even. Potter means a person who works in clay for making pots, vessels with the help of clay. In the beginning of the story itself, we can see a clear picture of bad weather, like inimical weather. You all are maybe aware regarding what is this bad weather or inimical weather. So last few days you all suffered because of that. It was a dark evening and the sky was full of clouds. The rain was about to start. It was starting to rain and an old tiger ran through the rain for shelter. The tiger cried loudly under the thatched roof of an old hut and lay down by the door. It was an old woman's hut which had a leak. When the tiger began to fall asleep, he heard a woman's voice complaining the leak in her hut was very terrible. She also complained aloud that she would rather meet a tiger than have the leak in her house. When the tiger heard her words, he thought that the leak was a very dangerous and strong animal. He was doubtful whether they were all not afraid of him. While these thoughts were lingering in his mind, he fell asleep. Again, our tiger, main character, again fell deep sleep. So in the text, we can see certain words like pit, pat, pit. This sound indicates the sound of the rain. This type of words can be called as onomatopic words. The main comical incident in this chapter is that woman's voice. Oh, how terrible this leak is. She complained, how terrible! I would rather meet a tiger in the forest than have this leak in my house. So the leak, what she meant and everyone know is what liquid that escapes through a hole of something. That is called a leak. Maybe some homes, especially huts, are leaking. Water will get inside. He said that that leak is terrible, like in sense, very unpleasant, frightened. She is frightened about that leak. Maybe this leak will leads to collapse of that hut. So the tiger misunderstood that the leak is a big dangerous animal. Likewise, the tiger misunderstood. That is the comical element there. What is a leak? It must be very dangerous and strong, or the woman would not be more frightened of the leak than of me. Am I not rightly called the king of the forest? Aren't they all afraid of me? I wonder what a leak look like. So these are the thoughts of tiger. So actually, because of this tiger, our Potter became brave and became a hero also. So on the afternoon of that day, a Potter had drunk more wine and no longer felt tired. When the rain began, he suddenly remembered that he had left his donkey tied under a tree. He rushed to the spot but couldn't find it. So actually, that Potter missed his donkey. He started searching for it. While he was searching, he often stumbled over roots and fallen branches. He felt angrier and wanted to give the donkey a good beating when he caught it. He reached the old woman's hut and mistook the tiger for his donkey. He couldn't notice the difference between a donkey and a tiger because what is the reason? Because he had drunk, isn't it? So, what he may be drunk, do you know that? Palm wine. So, in a way, we can say this story fermented palm juice drunk by village folk. In different languages, it may be Tati, Kallu, Sarakku. These may be the words. So from that, in front of that woman's hut, he seen that tiger, but he was not noticed about the difference between tiger and a donkey. He kicked and beat the sleeping tiger. The tiger thought that it must be the leak. That lady already said that this leak is frightened, terrible, isn't it? So actually the meaning who don't know tiger don't know, so he misunderstood that leek is an animal who came out of the hut. The tiger shivered with fright and wanted to do as the leek said. The porter jumped onto the frightened tiger's back, rode it home and tied it up with the iron chain. So, in short, because of overdrunk, this potter took our tiger to where to his own village and tied under a tree. So Potter still believes that it is a donkey only, but story changes right now. The next morning, the news spread throughout the village that the Potter had caught a tiger and tied it to a tree in his yard. All of them praised his courage, but the Potter couldn't understood how it all had happened. They didn't believe him, saying that he had only brought his donkey home. The villagers even praised him for his modesty. So modesty means humble. Everyone thought that he may be very much humble. That's why he thinks that unknowingly he took. Likewise, everyone believed. Now, who is very much famous in that village? Who is famous? Our brave Potter, isn't it? The days over, months over, years after. Let's see what happened. A few years later, a war broke out. The enemy army was much stronger. The king was worrying how he could save the country. He wanted a brave man to lead the army. One of his ministers told the king about the brave Potter. He called for the Potter, made him the general of the army, and ordered him to lead the army into the battle the next day. What a tragedy, isn't it? Even that Potter even don't know what may be his future. Now that Potter is thinking about that because of only one bad habit, all this happened because of his drunkenness. The Potter was worrying very much as he never carried sword nor had he ever ridden a horse. Only one donkey he know how to ride but not practiced about a horse or war or sword. Hence he wanted to practice riding the horse. He woke up early the next morning and climbed onto the horseback with great difficulty. Then he asked his wife to tie his feet to the stirrups. So before understanding what is stirrups, you should aware regarding what is saddle. Saddle is the seating arrangement back of the horse, especially riders will sit in that saddle. So under that saddle, we will get stirrups. Stirrups is a place where we can keep our legs safely that may be tied with the horse body. So she also tied him to the saddle. Suddenly, the horse jumped free and galloped out of the stable. After that tie made by the wife, the horse galloped, made that horse sound and started run fastly. The porter held to the horse's neck tightly and prayed to all the gods to save his life. In the top gear, the person who don't know driving, just imagine the person who don't know driving in the top gear without any balance, moving fastly. So such a experience who has now? Our brave Potter. Potter don't know what may be his future. He will live or die, he is asking maybe to himself. When that horse was galloped and run fastly. The horse galloped throughout the streets, the city gates, and began to head for the enemy's camp. Though he tried to pull on his reins and control the horse didn't stop. The porter grabbed a branch when they passed a young tree. So Porter don't know how to stop this horse. He tried wherever small branches of the trees are there, he tried to catch, but these branches only coming back with his hand. So when a sentry from the enemy camp saw him with a tree in one hand and the reins in other, so he thought that this Porter is like the leader of that other enemy's camp. So he thought that the horse rider must be a general who captured a tiger with his bare hands. Immediately he made loud shouts warning his men about famous tiger general who was rushing towards them to attack. So sentry, F-E-N-T-R-Y, sentry means, so like a watchman, he may stand very top of a particular kingdom. So right now we have this CCTV cameras, but ancient time, this peoples who having high intelligent and quotient eyesight, sentry will give informations to other soldiers. So after hearing this announcement, the frightened soldiers fled. Fled means run away. So fled. Even their king followed his soldiers, leaving a letter in the tent. Just kept a letter in the tent, and that king also left from that boundary. The porter was surprised to find the camp empty. He brought the letter and gave it to his wife. He requested her to take the letter to their king and tell him the enemy had run away. His wife gave the letter to the king and he read it. So do you know why he has given only to wife? Because he is tired, isn't it? He can't explain what happened even, isn't it? The condition of that poor porter, just imagine. He praised the porter and rewarded the porter so well that he didn't need to work again. So that much of rewards who given? King given. Because that war not happened, isn't it? Only because of our brave porter. Actually, in a sense, he is not a brave, isn't it? So, in a short, we can say this porter is really lucky. The two incidents of capturing the tiger and pulling the tree out of the ground took place fortunately in his favor. Everybody believed the two incidents to be true. Nobody knew the porter was not a brave man. I hope this funny story is more clear for you. For more videos, likes, share. Thank you.